So this diagram depicts hydrolysis of a disaccharide. Here we have a maltose molecule, which consists of two glucose units. In this case, the bond here is broken with the addition of water. An H is added to one molecule and an OH is added to another molecule. Now, polysaccharides are more complex than both the mono and the disaccharides. There's three important polysaccharides in nutrition. They're glycogen, starches, and fibers. Glycogen is important because it's the storage form of energy in the body, and starch is the storage form of energy in plants. Fibers similarly provide structure in the stems and the leaves, etc. of plants. Now, glycogen consists of glucose molecules linked together in highly branched chains, whereas starches consist of glucose molecules linked together in either branched or unbranched chains. Glycogen is found to a limited extent in meats, but not at all in plants. It plays an important role in the body, however, because it stores glucose for later use. So here's a diagram of the way that glycogen and starch are stored in the body and their molecular structure. So this is glycogen. Here we can see hundreds of glucose units in these highly branched chains. Each new glycogen molecule needs a special protein, which is shown here in red, for the attachment of the first glucose. Starch, on the other hand, has glucose molecules in either occasionally branched chains, right here, or unbranched chains, is in this amylose molecule. And this is again the way that plants store glucose as starch. So it might be packed side by side like this in potatoes, rice, beans, and when you eat a plant, your body performs again a hydrolysis reaction to convert the starch to individual glucose molecules that your body can use as energy. So quiz time. Which of the following is not a simple carbohydrate? Starch, white sugar, disaccharide, monosaccharide. If you said starch, you were correct. Starch is a polysaccharide, and the mono and disaccharides are simple sugars. So let's move on to dietary fiber. Fibers give plants their structures. Fibers are different from starch because their bonds cannot be broken down by our digestive enzymes. There's two main types of fiber. Soluble meaning it dissolves in water, forms gels, and is easily digested, meaning fermented by bacteria in the colon. Then there's also insoluble fiber, which does not dissolve in water, does not form gels, and is less readily fermented in the colon. And in these two main types of fiber, these properties give the fiber their benefits. So soluble fibers will help lower cholesterol and protect against heart disease and diabetes by slowing the absorption of glucose. And insoluble fiber promotes bowel movements, relieves constipation, and also prevents diverticular disease. And to learn more about diverticular disease, please watch the video that's also attached to the module for Chapter 4. Now there are a few other types of fibers. One is a functional fiber. And as I said before, fibers occur naturally in plants and give them their structure. But when fibers are either extracted from plants or are manufactured in a food lab and then added back to foods or used in a supplement, these are called functional fibers. They have beneficial health effects. And there are a few other starches that are classified as fibers, and these are known as resistant starches. These resistant starches do escape digestion in the small intestine, just like fiber does, which is why they're classified as fibers. So some examples of this might be just ripened bananas, pasta that's sort of al dente, and rice that's been chilled also contains resistant starch. And they have similar properties to insoluble fiber in that they help support a healthy colon. And the last nutrient I want to mention on this slide, well, it's not really a nutrient, but the last sort of class of fiber is phytic acid. It's not exactly a dietary fiber, which is why I struggled with which category to put it in, but it's found in fiber-rich foods. So because of this close association, researchers haven't really been able to determine whether it's a fiber, the phytic acid, or both that might bind with minerals to block their absorption. But this binding of phytic acid in foods like spinach, etc., sometimes blocks mineral absorption.